a really good traction, that had developed stuff, and by the way, could have used the picks that they had to trade for a Mark Williams without trading for Luka, and they do this other deal, and so now they're just sort of derailed. I really like their future for the next 2 or 3 years, but I'm not as in love with their present, and like I said, it's a paradox. They're whatever. The pressure is on the organization between now and August 2nd to get Luka to sign that extension. That's where the pressure is, because Luka doesn't have his incentive to sign in L. He never said, I want to be a Laker. There's dozens of players over the years who make it crystal clear they want to be Lakers. Luka never said that. This hit him out of the blue. It cost him $100 million. He has got to see how they build this team around him and what they do in June and July for when August 2nd comes. The Lakers ain't winning a championship this year. Their big moment is whether or not Luka commits to the future so that they can properly try to do this again with a new face of the franchise.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, let's remember it's 115 to 125 million. Let's not negate the 15 to 25 million extra in there in terms of how much he lost. He lost 115 to 125 million. That's number one. Ooh. Number two, that automatically knocks Rob Pelinka out of the box for Executive of the Year and re-ups, signs the max, stays in Los Angeles. If he doesn't, it's an unmitigated disaster of which the Los Angeles Lakers franchise will not recover from in the foreseeable future. Because if you lose Luka, if he doesn't sign to stay on board, and you've lost Anthony Davis, Lord, it doesn't get much worse than that.
You really think he'd want to leave LA, Stephen A?
I don't think so. I think that he'll end up staying. I think that Jeanie Buss, let me tell you something about Jeanie Buss and the Los Angeles Lakers. There is no one that caters to stars better than the Los Angeles Lakers. Wendy, if you think I'm wrong, chime in. I don't believe I'm wrong. There is no one that treats stars like they're stars. See, when you're a star, here's the deal. When you're a star, you know, you're going to get your money, you want your money, et cetera, et cetera. But what you really, really want is validation, which comes in the form of respect, whatever that entails. The Dallas Mavericks did
players in the league. He's racking off defensive or Western Conference Player of the Week honors since that happened. So, like, they're in a weird spot, and it's hard to have expectations with them, even though I understand why they're there.
I'm glad you brought up the last shot, Stephen A. In that situation, who do you think should be taking it, LeBron or Luka?
At this particular moment in time, it's LeBron because Luka doesn't have his legs under him as of yet. He's definitely struggling. Again, in fairness to him, he's played his third game since Christmas. And this is a dude that even when he was playing every day, he was considered out of shape. So imagine how out of shape he is that he's been out for so long where he's only played 3 games since Christmas. You got to give him some time. Clearly he doesn't have his legs under him. He doesn't have his shot. We get that part. So in that regard, you've got to give it to LeBron. But we can't ignore the fact that in the fourth quarter, closeout moments, overtime, etc., as a Laker, LeBron is 1 in 29. I mean, one could make the argument you might as well try somebody else because it can't get much worse than that. But I still don't knock J.J. Redick for calling that shot for LeBron. Said, hell no, that's not in our plans. You go to Los Angeles, Jeanie Buss, it doesn't matter who it is. I've never met a star that said that the Los Angeles Lakers mistreat their stars. It's just not something that happens. And so because of that, I think that what he experienced in Dallas, to know that he can find himself in a situation like Tinseltown where that allure, that star power is something that he'll gravitate to and that they'll gravitate to in terms of how they treat him, it's hard for me to imagine he'll walk away from that in light of how he departed from Dallas. It would be a shocker, to be quite honest with you, because of Jeanie Buss. It just doesn't happen to her.
You want to jump in there, Wendy? You want to add anything to that, or I can keep it pushing?
I would generally agree with Stephen A. If I had to wager right now, I'd wager on him signing it. What I'm saying is that the advantages that the Mavericks had that would guarantee to Luka re-sign, the Lakers don't have. And while, yes, many of the stars who were traded there over their career, whether it was Kareem or Anthony Davis or whomever, have re-signed, we did see this happen once before, where Dwight Howard was traded there. It didn't work out, and he didn't re-sign. So the Lakers are experts at this. It's their number one priority. I would bet on it. But if you're talking to the real talk about what the pressure of the rest of the season is, it's to get Luka comfortable enough to say, this is where I want to be.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. If they don't get Luka to re-sign, it is an unmitigated. It ain't professional sports. And so when we start talking about why Luka is not the version of him that we're accustomed to seeing step up on the big stage where the lights are the brightest, it's because this is a player that has had issues when it comes to making sure that he does everything that he can to keep himself as healthy as possible, the way he trains, the way he diets, all of those different things that we have become accustomed to professional athletes doing on their own. And so that's the part that makes this a little bit sticky. As a Lakers fan, I'm excited. I'm through the moon. The fact that we got Luka Doncic, another face for the franchise over the course of the next decade. But I am concerned about the version of Luka Doncic that we're going to get not only this season, but for the rest of his tenure as a Laker. Will the trade from the Dallas Mavs, will missing out on the Supermax be the wake-up call that we all want it to be, that it needs to be, in order for the Lakers to be right on this gamble that they made with Luka?
He just stumbled on to where the actual pressure is. I understand they got pressure because they got to play Denver this weekend.